through. Turn off my telegram. Telegrams. All right. Now this is just some food for thought for the Hexicans, I would say, but for everyone. Now we have, for instance, I want to make this entire stream about me refreshing this page until it fucking, excuse my language, until Alex Jones is freed on to X from Elon Musk. But I won't make that because a lot of other people are noticing, which is amazing, which is so positive for the world, I think. But, feel free to disagree. The thing I find most interesting is when you analyze what it is we're actually doing. So I analyze myself. That's why I make these videos. I go back and go, what am I even talking about? Do I care? Will others care? What am I trying to achieve here? And it's funny because I was going through, and I'll go through in a little bit, several things, such as what Hexicans have the most reach, literally have the most clout. And why is that? Is it because of our ecosphere, or is it because of actual real world reach? The numbers don't lie, I guess you could say also. So facts don't lie. But then moving on from that, it's like, why is there this obsession with people like Elon Musk, Alex Jones? If you actually, Carl Tuckerson, if you actually, I think, listen to these people, some of the stuff, you don't have to agree with 100% of everything they're saying, because it's like, then you fall into the cult era, and that's not such a good thing, the whole drink the Kool-Aid and etc. that you may be familiar with a story along the lines of that. I can't recall it off the top of my head, but there is a whole backstory to that. Like the cult leader literally drank the Kool-Aid and it was poison. Now, it's like, what are we doing? It's almost as if there's a battle for your time, which I think there is, and there's a battle for the people that you follow is the world that you want to live in your own mind, almost, especially now with the advent of social media. It is more and more possible to, maybe you really like a certain type of cooking show, and for some reason that's all you follow on your social media. That's going to consume your spare time, which is good. You enjoy that, that's fine. But maybe your view of the world will be different to someone else's. Well, I guarantee it will, because we all see the world differently. That's why we are individuals. That's why we have free will. That's why I think there is a sort of battle for our attention, and whether that be through things like Elon Musk, what he's doing, Alex Jones, what he's doing, and Tucker Carlson and what he is doing. So you can have a look at some of that stuff. It's very political. And then I just was watching this video one time. I think it was the emergency meeting, just a small snippet, and Tristan Tate's like, you really shouldn't bother about politics until you're mad rich. I'm not sure what exactly he said, but it sort of dropped. I'm like, well, that kind of makes sense, because what can you do? And if you're like homeless, even if you're the smartest, like what if you're Einstein, but you couldn't write and you couldn't speak? That would be insane, right? It'd be like a caveman who understood everything of the universe, but can't talk to anyone else, can't tell anyone else about it. That would be a shame. I was thinking today, I was doing some gardening, instead of staring at price charts and things like that. There's a mad storm coming, crazy hot weather, and then it's going to rain for about 2 days straight. So I thought, well, I may as well lay some seeds. Perfect time. Planning for the future. And I thought, well, I saw some insects, shit like that. And it's like, well, I didn't know these were here, cleaning up some carrots. And next thing I'm like, so imagine if we were all blind and deaf and we couldn't see what is going on around us. Would we even, well, as a species, would probably die out, because we wouldn't be able to procreate. But would we actually, what would we actually perceive? We have all this, we've been given the blessing of like sight, vision, thought, What else? Sensations, sight, vision, same sort of thing. There's an argument out there. Maybe some people can perceive more than others. Maybe we can all do it. Maybe some of us aren't tapped into it. But if we were all, blind, for instance, it would make communicating and perceiving the world around us. Then imagine if you somehow something was invented. I don't know how, because we'll all be blind. And that was our method of, allowing vision. And what if the only way to allow vision was through something like, virtual reality or some version of that? That is how we would perceive the world. And I thought, that's fucking crazy to think about. That's amazing. I guess if you're blind, then you could possibly talk. So you could possibly, the culture would be very audible. And we wouldn't really care as much as what someone looks like, their body language. It'd almost be what it is they're saying. And we would get very attuned to whether or not they're lying, how their words are spoken, and what they've said previously, because that's all that would matter. We wouldn't notice, their body language. We wouldn't notice other traits. I thought that was just something interesting, Now, the next thing, so I think it's time to free Alex Jones from Twitter jail. I think it's time to free everyone who got purged from Twitter jail under the new leadership. And, hopefully Elon Musk does his thing. But I'm not so sure when it will happen or how it will happen or if it will happen at all. There is a lot of followers to this. And like I said before, if you go back and have a look, why is it so interesting? And I thought, well, if we apply this, then if you apply this to the Hexagon community, right? What is it that people are trying to achieve in, I guess, the world? Not so much politics, but if you really have a vision, you really want the world to be better, maybe some Hexagons are all about that. Maybe some are in it for other motivations, maybe to try and get famous. I'm not so sure the end result. But we can use our logic. So we can apply logic through things we read. Now, here's a good example, I thought. Israel continues flooding Hamas tunnels as it pursues top leader thought to be hiding underground. Now, I saw some interesting images, an article, and they had some machinery. They were basically pumping in, I think it was seawater. I'm not sure what the body of water was because of the maps and where they're located. And they were pumping tunnels full of water. Now, I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it looks like it has. Because following that, a day, 2 days or so of this non-stop pumping of water, and when water has nowhere else to go, what do you think happens to it? It gets trapped. It fills up, becomes a body of water. And if you're in a tunnel, at the bottom of a tunnel, it's probably not the best place because water will find the lowest spot. So is my understanding on this particular planet, given this physics. In space, I'm not sure if we just float around or what the calculations are. But anyway, that aside, if you are noticing articles like this, and then you see here, this popped up, right? And as you can see, I've been looking around to try and fix some car stuff through my ads. Thank you, Google Ads, for doxing my thoughts, my visions. Now, I saw this here, and I literally thought on first inception, I thought it was people rounding up individuals or men. Maybe they were in Palestinian men. Maybe that's what was happening, right? Then I read this article, further context has been applied to it, and I remember this article. I'm like, I remember this. They're going to use water to flood out tunnels. So apparently, these people were surrendering because the water was flooding them out, literally. Now, like I said, I'm not pro either side here. I don't know enough about it generally because of my location where I was raised and the media I've consumed over my lifetime. I am more for the Israelis to somehow win. How they'll actually ever win, I'm not sure. So I'm not going to speak to that. And define win, I've heard the two-state solution. I like to think everyone's good in the world, but when people are literally trying to kill you, trying to kill each other, I wouldn't want to be on the opposite end of that. You'd have to fight back. I would assume would be the natural instinct. Like when I was doing the gardening and there was some, I uncovered a tunnel of, I don't know what they were, crickets or locusts or something. Had no idea they're there, and I was like mucking around. I was gonna squish some of them, but then I saw there was I think I'm assuming it's a mummy locust, and it had little baby ones on its back, and I'm like, oh, little baby locust. Okay, I won't kill it. Anyway, and then so I'm doing my thing, ignoring it because I don't know if I spooked them or what. And then the one of them that sort of I shooed away earlier, like I'm assuming it's a male one, sort of like it tried to attack me, and I don't know why. I'm thinking if this was an alpha cricket trying to attack me, I'd relate that to someone like, Topchi. Not to say that he's a cricket, but I'm saying in that context, a male would do that. They would try and defend their family and defend their territory and things like that. So I can't remember what I was saying. So back to this. Like I said, I'm not taking any sides. I'm just pointing out if you use your logic and read a lot of things, you see patterns develop, and well, if it's real that they were flooding it, and if it's real that these people were surrendering, most likely the people, not going on a crazy tangent there, but most likely these people are the people who surrendered from the tunnels. That would make logical sense. Hence, that's why they're being treated as such, because they were trying to kill each other. And like I said, maybe both of these sides think that they're the alpha cricket. I don't know. So that's the sort of things that I notice. I don't know if other people notice this. It could just be me. I'm not so sure. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are noticing. Not so much this here, because that's sort of a unique situation. It doesn't happen all the time. But when you read something and then later on you find out more, it makes more sense, provides context. And the funny thing about this article that made me think further was, it's funny. It's amazing how when I go on Twitter or X and I see this and I automatically read this here, where is it, things like this, like implying automatically that it's just evil what they're doing. It's very easy to go, oh, that's my version of the world, as I was saying early on, because you have your own free will, you have your own free thoughts. You might be mentally insane, but you still have your own free thoughts. Whether or not you can do other things though is a lot more questionable. However, when you are influenced by social media to such the extent that we are, because we are very, 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 very audible in terms of we like listening to people talk. We like listening to music and things like that. But also we like, some people I think like reading and understanding what's going on. Now, this leads me to another thing that I experienced today, and so I'll get to that. The ease of the ability to sway people's information through social media now is ever so much is very relevant. Previously, we saw Operation, I can't remember what it was. It's a well-known operation. Basically, things in the media, if you are very familiar with the term narrative, it's been used for the longest time in the Hexagon ecosphere. I'm not sure where it derived from, but I remember the first video I ever made, I mentioned that word. So maybe someone else listening has heard it before previously and rolls with it, because it would not surprise me, because we are such a small community of Hexagons, that is Hexagons I'm talking about here. Now, with that in mind, think about, so zooming out and just go, okay, we're looking at hugely famous people and why it is I think that they're famous and why it is that I think I have an interest in it, in terms of following them, because I think somehow I'm going to change the world, as opposed to someone who really likes President Biden and thinks he's somehow changing the world. So that's where the views will be different. And then apply that to whatever community you're in. Maybe it's your own community, maybe it's at work, maybe it's your household politics, maybe it's your family politics, maybe it's in fact your online media politics, maybe it's a cryptocurrency group you're involved in, maybe it's that politics, right? So everyone has their own take, and everyone can be I would say, fairly swayed if they're not paying attention, you know. Because you can see when you mention things in the community, sometimes if the right people hear it and you figure out that they're hearing it, um, it's pretty, it's noticeable when they talk about it. So if you're pointing some things out and then they realize that you're correct and they're wrong, maybe they'll change their worldview, you know, as it said in the, as I think Richard Hart himself made that very popular for myself. That's where I adopted that from. Now, in relation to reading, understanding, perception, zooming right in. So let's have a look at the cryptocurrency space, right? So you want to be an influencer. Now, I thought, well, first thing you're going to be doing is looking at cryptocurrency news, most likely, as I found myself doing. But before I do this, I was out about, I'm not sure if it was a student and a lecturer or a daughter and a mother. They're of Asian appearance, possibly Philippine, possibly Thai, speaking English, but you could tell it's broken. So maybe English was a second language, right? And the young one, I'm assuming, or the student, was talking about the word enable. And I couldn't really understand. Because I was like just doing my own little world, just chilling. Then I heard her read a sentence. It was the definition of enable. And I'm like, okay, that's perfectly clear because you understand those words. But the way that the student, I'll call it the student, spoke about it with such confidence, almost like the people you see, not even a gender thing here, but just people. I'm like, sound like some old man. Oh, the youth of today go on TikTok and talk in a certain manner, and they're so certain about what it is that they speak about. And this person was like, oh, I can't even, what does these words even mean? It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, it clearly makes sense. It was perfect English. I'm not sure, maybe you have to stop and really read the words, or maybe you understand the words. And then I thought, after hearing that, because I looked over, I couldn't help myself. I probably shouldn't have. I looked over at maybe it was the mom, maybe it was the teacher, and she was like to the other student, what do you think it means? And, what's it called? And it was very interesting, to say the least. There was no response. It was a blank stare. And I couldn't help but think, imagine if you are talking to other people and they have no idea what you're saying. Okay, fair enough, it's a different language barrier, maybe. But if youth of today, students potentially, they're not understanding the words, if they can go Google it all up themselves, right? But if they don't understand what it is they're reading, how are they ever going to apply it? It's sad to see the degradation of intellect. I'm not sure if this is intentional. Is you put your team for a hat on and say, oh, we're being, on purposely dumbed down so we don't understand, we can't read articles. And then on the other end, if someone is nerdy to some extent and understands the cryptocurrency, or understands freedoms, or understands law, that's boring, because maybe it's the fact that the people listening just don't understand. And I'm thinking, shit, if this is the youth, right, and they're so adamant that this doesn't make any sense, makes no sense that what the word enable means. Like the definition of enable, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'll be more inclined to think it's to allow for something to occur. I enabled this stream by clicking start stream. I enable the audio to be turned on. It'd be interesting to see the definition of if that's even in there. But that was just kind of eye-opening. But like I said, maybe it was either it was a student or it was a child younger than they actually looked. But hearing that with such certainty makes me really wonder what the future is going to hold, because these are the people that you might call them up on a call center, and they're the ones telling you adamantly that no, this cannot be done. And I wonder, do they really understand? Now, I could go into a whole nother. I used to work in call centers. I actually was after doing some study, there's a huge backstory to that, to lead what led to that, but we'll start at the study. And basically, after mastering this particular environment, dealing with I think it was mortgage brokers and people who knew a lot about stuff in the field of mortgages and instruments, financial instruments that are called mortgages. Well, it went from being yelled at on a daily basis to understanding what it is they said, because I researched a lot about what it is they were asking. It got to the point where I got so bored, this was in the space of about 9 months, I got to the point where I started looking at the legal definition of who owns the title and questioning when people got really shitty on a call. I'd say, oh, okay, so who owns the title? And they had no idea what to say. It was fucking hilarious. Dude, it was the funniest shit. And whoever's watching this or replay, whatever, it was quite hilarious to see that, because it went from being I was the person saying, I don't know, I'm like, and what is this word? I don't know what this word means. This is not, you can't do this with this project. You can't do it with this financial, you can't do this. And I learned you could. And I learned there's other things that you can do. I learned there's a whole other, and there's still stuff I don't know. And I was like, that's what fascinated me, because I thought, well, maybe I should continue and pursue and keep learning about this stuff. I have thoughts even today, maybe I should go and be a person that, be the underwriter of financial instruments, but the person that proves it and stuff, or assess them, but maybe actually go and either sell houses or, be a mortgage broker themselves and provide loans. But apparently, in this current economy, that's maybe not the best job to have. Australia, not too bad, but I've seen some articles. Yikes. People are doing gig economy work because they can't approve any loans because the things are so strict. Now here in Australia, we have the rates are basically being paused up until February, which is a good thing. So who knows, maybe some other countries will follow suit. I'm not so sure. I haven't heard much, and if I do, I may or may not share it. I probably will share it with some Hexagons, but yeah, whether or not anyone listens, who knows. Now, the next thing. So I went off a bit of a mind unraveling there, so hopefully that made some sense. I think it did. If you go back and listen to understand the words, you probably understand what I'm saying. The next thing, crypto. So I'm looking at crypto, right? So crypto is the words, we have to understand the words that are being said. And if the words are being said, we don't understand, we have no chance of intellectually making an informed decision, right? But we will assume that we do, and maybe we read the article headlines, and maybe that's how we think what's going on in the world. Like I said before, if you only look at some images on social media, and then some, facts, quote unquote facts, or more correctly, memes or opinions, then you may form a different worldview versus what is actually going on logically and factually versus someone else who's trying to tell you otherwise. Maybe you're the person trying to push a narrative. Maybe you're the person who honestly thinks they're doing the right thing, but is bad information. Or maybe you're just factually, logically going through it all and going, this is what is actually happening. It doesn't matter what side you're on, this is what is happening. So the next thing is here. We have crypto. The, top trends. So, because I'm thinking, okay, this is very interesting. We're seeing crypto bull, right, going through, and Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX is not doing the best, which is interesting. Given that, we saw on, I think it was Ivan on Tech, he had a stream, and there was some pretty characters I had never heard of before. They broke it down in a way that made so much sense after seeing what I saw in, I think, 2017, the previous cycle, I think it would be now, or maybe the cycle before that. No, pretty sure it was the previous cycle. I didn't mean before the previous cycle, but they broke it down and explained in a very, very efficient way. Bitcoin goes up, people take profits, they go into alts. $1 doesn't increase the alt by $1, it could increase it by more, and that was the when I heard them, that makes so much sense, because we see the moves on altcoins can be absolutely insane, right? Insane, as we saw with Hex when it did its all-time highs. And as we're going to probably see with this new bull run, whether or not Hex actually goes through with it, follows the same timeline, I'm not so sure. Because the next thing I was thinking, what weapon would Hex be, right? We're talking about all these secret weapons and shit in terms of, like, you know, the nickname for it, but I'm almost starting to think Hex might just be the good old trusty knife, you know? I'm not sure if I can show them on stream or live stream, because they might deem it as a weapon of some sort, so I won't. But it should be okay. Actually, no, it's an ornament, so it should be fine, you know? Actually, no, I won't. So, for instance, it never runs out of ammo. It's always there. It's trusty. It's, you know, if trained well with it, it can be very deadly. Very deadly. So I'm always thinking Hex is like that. I don't know what the other weapons would be in cryptocurrency, but, you know, I'd call them some weapons. The argument that, you know, XYZ coin is better than another coin, I'm not going to get into that, because I'll let everyone else under the sun do that in the cryptocurrency space, because that's what they do. Now, this was interesting. If you're only reading the headlines, Novus Investors not trading in Rise of Bitcoin, news.com.au, trading news site. We then see Bitcoin Ordinals token. They talk about just this is crypto news right here. So you read this, you get your talking points of the day, and yeah, whether or not it's correct, maybe you need to do some more research on this. It would not hurt, I don't think. But again, do you actually understand the words that they're being said and how they're being said in the context? And that can help you understand a little bit better what's actually going on. Because I don't think I know everything about it, but I'm good at looking at stuff, remembering stuff, and seeing, engaging. Like, because I always wonder who's watching these streams. They can't sometimes. Yeah, no, I won't say that. Sometimes it's interesting to see talking points or reactions. You know, it's fucking interesting. Sometimes I see there's ones that come in teams as well. It's not strange if it's sure if it's 2 people or whatever. I won't say any more like that. So, because that could be crazy limbo stuff, but that's my perception, because that's what I think. So I will cover cryptocurrency now a little bit more. Now, I don't know why I typed in cryptocurrency, you know, what can I find? We see this here. I'm not buying ADA, here's why, because I was looking at those streams, right? Charles Hoskinson. So I saw an article come up, and I saw the price pumping, and I'm like, going, why is it pumping? Maybe I should buy some of this, right? I was very close, very, very close. I'm like, no, I won't. I feel almost like I'm cheating on Hex or something. But there'll be a lot of people that do, and they would buy it and make some profit from it. Maybe they come back to Hex, maybe they don't. Like I said, maybe they use it like a savings account, so they make some profits in another space. They put it back into the time lock, term deposit, and start making their ladders. And you see the price go up, because T-shares, there's no stopping T-shares. If T-shares were a weapon, it would most likely be something like a new nuclear reactor, because there's no way of stopping it. Or if there was something else, it's like a black hole, infinite energy, and it's just nothing can kill a black hole. I'm not sure if it ever implodes on itself and projects outwards. Maybe not. But so the next thing I thought, well, okay, who's covering this and why are they covering this? I'm not sure if they're paid for shills, because I'm sure not. I'm pretty 100% sure no one in the Hexagon sphere is, because Hexagons have the largest, you know, streaming community. And so I thought, well, instead of bickering with each other, fighting over this, fighting over that, or trying to, you know, gain control of the community, why don't Hexagons try to sort of punch outwards and hit up other people? Because going back to this here, right? People with huge sway globally, maybe they're trying to actually, maybe they're trying to actually influence the world, and people don't like the idea of the World Economic Forum, you know, making us all eat bugs, and BlackRock owning all the property, and then it getting to the insane point where we're controlled and locked down by, say, a mobile phone connected to a microchip, so we don't need to have it implanted, we already have it, and maybe we have some sort of passport to roam around the planet, and we can't roam around the planet because maybe the only thing you can do is catch a government issued taxi service, you know, similar to gig economy workers. And then maybe, you know, it goes on and on and on, how bad and grim things could be. And it's like that because there's a large group of people in power that have lots of money, and because they've made all the mad gains, they actually, in a sense, control the world because they have so much money. Think about BlackRock. Look at their funds. Look at their books, if you could. I'm not sure you can. But just have a look at some of the stuff that they own and they're investing in. They have their tentacles everywhere. They have huge amount of reach. Imagine the meetings that take place behind closed doors. And if they like the idea of oil or nuclear power plants, then maybe, just maybe, they get some investments and some backings behind it. Maybe they like the idea of, as on the stream, maybe they like the idea of farmers not being able to farm because farmers, you know, are the reason why food won't exist. It's insanity, right? I think I butchered that, but they sort of go along the line of, if you're a farmer, you're going to hurt the food supply. Like, that's like their mentality. You see them when they have their meetings, they all get together. What World Economic Forum was at Davos, I think, and they have the Bilderberg groups. They meet. The amount of pollution that the planes that they use, their private jets, spew out, and they get together and do this because in the name of green economic energy. It's like people are more and more, thanks to the internet, realizing this. But not just that. People, I think, okay, and so bring that right back to relevance of the cryptocurrency, of the community, of Hex, for instance. Thank you, Team Top, for showing out. See, there's like some people that are always around, which is amazing. Now, think about the people who, in crypto, in Hex, for example, they made all the money. They made the mad whales, mad gains. I'm trying to think how to word this. It's not in a bad way. It's just logic. Like, it's like I go through and I see what happens, and people made money. They're large whales. Potentially they're streaming. Potentially they have lots of power control over the entire ecosphere. Now, compare that to the real world. You see the people at the top, the BlackRocks, etc. Whatever they want, they get. Is it the same with the Hexian community? I would say yes. Now, the only way to take that power back is for the little guys. Now, this sounds crazy from being in the Hexian ecosphere itself. It would be for the little guys to get together, maybe figure out a way to take that power back from the whales or become whales themselves. Hence, it's like, why would you talk about politics if you're not like rich in the real world? Because wouldn't the goal to be get very wealthy, and then you start engaging, you start acting like a whale in the real world? Hex crypto has that ability to provide that, and we did have anyway. We'll continue to have if the price does go up and to the right. However, this current market, we're seeing some very throttling signs on Hex, in particular with the SEC case. I myself still am having issues being able to move my own money to a US-based trust to allow me to spend my money through my digital account, which I signed up under my name, which I KYC'd. And that concerns me. Not that platform, not the platforms I use, but me not being able to spend my own money easily in the Pulse Chain ecosphere has a dampening effect on investors, potential investors, hobbyists, gamblers, people who want to run their own code on blockchain, right? Now, we then look at the world. We see large players with huge amounts of money. We then look at the hexagon crypto space, we see large whales with huge amount of hex. Now, do they or do they not influence the price of hex? Yes, they do. I'm not saying large whales are intentionally, sadistically dumping on everyone's heads to try and get more back, but maybe it is similar to the way that we see the world, where we get told we need to eat the bugs and enjoy it. And it almost sounds as if it's like, let's rise up and overthrow the whales of hex. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm pointing out facts that this is the way it is. And even if you point out that if you're in your own little world, your own little ecosphere, when the new products come out, they were unfinished that now are currently finished. People might have thought that it was good. Then it actually comes out and you can see the end result. So, but there's a big but there. It needs to play out. So you see different products, different projects. Some have played out good. Some have rugged. Some have played out okay. Some could play out good. And then there's Hex and Pulse Chain and PulseX. Again, the same thing. Well, in terms of it's not, the price isn't so good. It functions correctly. The low gas fees, it's all functioning well, but the price, we can't pretend that it's not doing as I think it should. And who is to blame for this? I could say it's the whale's fault, or I could say it's my fault as a smaller player to not be able to get the power that I deserve, the power that you deserve. If you really want to engage in this system meaningfully, in a meaningful way, I don't think you are going to get the power that you require or request or want or need to be able to move shit. Think about it. You have 1 cent of economic energy. Why aren't I the richest person in fucking Hexaco? Because you put 1 cent in. That's why. When you sell your 1 cent, no one cares. When you sell when you sell your 1 billion, maybe people care. Again, and people caring, you need to not have any goddamn expectations. What have you learned through what I learned through crypto, through the teachings of Richard Hart? Now that sounds kind of biblical, but through the crypto teachings from a well-informed individual in the cryptocurrency space who I had never heard of before, who I listen to and have mad respect for now because of the knowledge that was passed down, basically. And that's only the knowledge that he speaks on stream, because there could be other stuff, like I said, that he knows that I don't know. And that's always the case. Every single time you meet another person, there's always something that they know that you don't know. Now, when you analyze that, so you look at the world and go, okay, there's large whales in control. How the fuck do I make a change? Maybe you need to earn more. Maybe you need to become more influential. Maybe it's as simple as having a family and raising them right. And then maybe, you don't know, maybe your kids is the person that solves quantum theory and changes the fucking world. You don't know that, right? You could say negative things as well, but I won't go there because that's given. But then we look here, back to cryptocurrency, back to the Hexaco ecosphere. Yes, it's cool. We have streamers, right? We have the largest community. Like, I'm technically part of the community. However, I have small reach in terms of analytics, you know? So I thought, well, let's look at analytics. Analytics is a good follow. Mate, Twitter is kind of okay, but I think actual people watching watching content would make more sense. And that's when I did this, I looked up some trends, and I thought, well, I kind of like the founder, what he was saying about Cardano, but I didn't buy any. Very close to buying some, I didn't. But I thought maybe that's how I function. Maybe I like get an impression. I like the founder. I listen to what they say, and that encourages me to invest capital. Maybe people are taking plays out of certain streamers who have come and gone at this point in time. Because Satoshi no one knows who Satoshi is. Vitalik, I'm not sure if he had the streams. I'm not sure if he has. I haven't researched him in depth. Maybe I should. There's probably a lot of stuff I don't know, like I said, in cryptocurrency space. But what I'm seeing is what I'm going with. Now, this person here, I have no idea. I've never heard of them before. They have their own little channel. They have 45,000 subscribers, right? Which is not bad. I don't know if they're paid for bots. I don't know if she's shilling anything herself, and nothing against or for her. Just using this purely as an example. And the next thing I thought I would look at would be her channel. So maybe someone comes across this, maybe they go, okay, what's this channel about? Do I have the time to read and watch and understand all this stuff? I'm not so sure, because I'm wondering at this point who's actually in cryptocurrency. It's probably the diehards and people looking to get rich quick, I would say. Most likely the younger ones. But generally, the younger ones don't have as much money as the older ones. The older ones also maybe set in their ways. But if you look at Hexaco, there's fucking a huge coverage worldwide of individuals who are in the space. So I could be completely wrong, because have a look at Hex, for example. Mind you, we're not seeing everyone stream in the same way, but that's, I guess, a given, because, you know, we have, what I think explain why. So someone like this, I'm not sure how old this channel is. It's got 45,000 views. I think and I think this is unfortunate, because I'm not sure if they've talked about Hex or Pulse Chain, but how can someone like this, who I've never heard of, you know, maybe I'll tag them in with this video. How can someone like this have more views and more likes and more numbers than someone like Maddie Allen, Identity Block, Hexologist? You know, those three. Like all the well-known Hexagon streamers. I guess from you'd call it the first cycle of Hex, and who are still around. We then see, I guess, the second, third, fourth generation appearing, but even then, they have more subscribers based on the metrics that I've seen. Only just. But how can your friend Somi have less than Lady of Crypto? Like, I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is a trend. We get stuck in our Hexaco way, which is fine. It's cool, it's worked, but now Hex price is down, and when you come out saying Hexagon is not affected, people can turn around and say, look at your price, and we can say, we're going to go up, and it's like, okay, but also you can say, well, every other crypto is probably going to go up the next cycle. You could say, oh, I could have sold a Bitcoin all-time high, but now it's only, look at the price now. It's like, yeah, but the price is more than Hex. Would be a logical argument, you know, factually correct as well. Now, does it function and does it have the t-shirt mechanism? No, but I highly doubt people following this streamer is going to understand or have the time to understand that. And then I also doubt that there's people in the community who even understand it themselves, because it might be people. This is what I'm saying. Everyone's different. There's a wide range of people. Someone might follow this lady who stumbled across Hex and thinks that they're just going to get mad gains. I think we should point out to these other streamers, go, look, Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, and what is good, what is not. But I'm not so sure that we're doing that. We seem to be stuck in this echo chamber, because, like I said, your friend Somi has 22k. Our best streamer by far in the Hexagon ecosphere, who's no longer streaming that as often as other daily streamers, is Richard Hart himself. And he himself only has 151,000 subscribers. So he's only, you know, I'll be generous in saying a 4x of Lady of Crypto. And what has Lady of Crypto done? Like maybe she's founded her own coin or something, but she's got alpha education tips. But Richard Hart has like 151. What? And so basically, our best streamer is not currently streaming, and we've had no one surpass him. I don't think we've had anyone come close, except myself, of course. But you know, then we have Sorry, that was a joke. If you and then we've got Ivan on Tech, right? I'm not sure if this is the original channel or a new version because he wasn't around for a long in crypto a long time. It wasn't around as much. Maybe he understands the cycle, and he has 500,000 subscribers. So he is almost generously a 4x on top of Richard Hart. And now that's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So I think we really need to figure out, you know, like I said, what's really going on in terms of price movement and who the whales are. And if you really want power in this space, I think we need to become more like Richard Hart personally. That's not creating it. And maybe that's what happened. And people thought, I'm going to do it better. I'm going to basically copy all the words and all the hand gestures and mannerisms and things like that to shield myself. And so instead of becoming, and I'll bring this back full circle, people that would listen to some facts from Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson are most likely less inclined to listen to someone like the World Economic Forum and, you know, the BlackRocks of the world. That being said, everyone likes money, so you never know, they might cross the lines. And what I'm saying is, if you perceive one group as evil or good or whatever without listening to both sides, you're missing some of the story, yes. But if, for instance, you know, you have someone who wants to be like Alex Jones, and then, but the reason they want to be like Alex Jones or Richard Hart isn't because they actually believe in some of the stuff that they're saying. Like, so maybe some of the people don't actually, and it's hard because I can't speak for Richard Hart or Alex Jones, but someone in who follows Alex Jones, maybe they want freedom, their version of freedom, but maybe they prefer the fame. This is probably a better analogy. Someone who likes crypto maybe doesn't believe in the things that are being signaled out from Richard Hart. Things like freedom of speech, freedom to associate, and a sacrifice for it, and raising money for charity, and literally creating a not only a community, creating an actual crypto that didn't just run away with everyone's money. And those things, maybe people don't actually believe in that. Maybe they haven't been around for as long. Again, it's hard to speak for other people here. This is my take on it. But maybe people just think that they just make a token, price go up, everyone gets happy, and then they become famous. But it's not the case, because I'm seeing it in the metrics clearly that, and then there's also some people that have absolute huge alpha or very in-depth understanding of the space, but yet will never get discovered because maybe the algorithm on YouTube doesn't like them. Maybe the community itself doesn't listen to them, you know. Yeah, that's quite possible as well. But we then see streamers like this coming up, which is fine. But whether or not the goal is to become like this streamer or become like this streamer, you know, there's I think there's different levels of streamer based on my analysis. Now I could be wrong, right? But I'm a not bad judge of character. And like I said, maybe it's going to take people taking back, because I used to play a game and it was real it was a funny game called Gangsters. It says real power is never given, it's taken. And so what I'm saying is, maybe in the Hexagon community, the smaller people need to speak up and do something, do anything. Just try and gain your power that's been given to you. Stop relying on the backs of everyone else. You know, stop. I don't know. It sounds bad because that could be like stop following individuals and listening to what they're saying, even though unless it's for entertainment or something, it makes you laugh. At this point in time, you need to, as an individual, need to be empowered. Not you don't need to empower someone else. Like that could be another level to it. What if you're listening to people like Tucker Carlson, like Alex Jones, like Elon Musk, and ultimately you're giving your power to them? You're falling on you're relying on the backs of them. So you're saying, I'm going to be like Elon, I'm going to be like Alex, I'm going to be like Tucker, and but why not be like I'm going to be like me, and I'm going to point my thoughts out there, and I'm going to make my thoughts heard. You know, do the same in the world as you would in cryptocurrency. Like if you're at work and you're like, I'm not going to like bother. I don't think you're going to get very far, you know, but if you're like hardworking, can solve shit, and you point your opinion out in the right times, maybe you get noticed, maybe you get promoted, right? Doing nothing, being a slack ass, probably not a good idea. Yeah, unless you're trying to get fired. Now, yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. We're all relying on in Hexco, I think we're all relying on other people to do the work, which is amazing. It is amazing when they do, but think about it. I didn't create Hex. You don't think anyone listening to this or watching this? I don't think you created Hex. I think you created Pulse Chain. Well, technically the devs would have created it, but you know, Richard Hart, I would say, gets the strong majority of the credit. So why don't we go out there and create better versions of ourselves, and then, because we've all happened to discover a mad cryptocurrency that has really good tokenomics, has the T-shares, it can go on, well, almost forever, so several lifetimes, and has the ability to make everyone rich. But instead, we're going to rely on someone else. Then when it doesn't happen, who do we have to blame? You know, you can't blame that person. You look in the mirror, blame yourself. Shit. Otherwise, we're going to end up like that person who didn't understand what the word enable meant. Enable. With the definition written in English, what it meant, and reading it saying, this is stupid. Why is this happening? Why is the price of Hex down? It's like, well, how much have you bought lately? How much have you sold lately? Do you understand how to use it correctly? Meanwhile, and do you have any significance in the ecosphere? Meanwhile, the people with all the power sit at the top, just like in the real world. And that's not good or bad, but think about it. If we want to get control over your own local council, your own local government, your own nation, you might need to write to some people. You know, you might need to actually I don't know, we might need to start running for politics at this point in time. Remembering though, there's no friends in politics. What if all the pro crypto friendly people just go? Then what? Then what are you going to be left with? It's going to be a good site. Now that's very negative, but you got to understand the negative, because that's what you don't want it to be like. You want it to be good, right? Well, I want it to be good. But yeah. I think it's a shame. It's a shame we haven't seen streams, because that's our best streamer down, basically. Yeah, we got some other streamers who are streaming and are gaining some traction, which is impressive. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on it, but like I said, if everyone was following me and I was getting it wrong, I would not be happy with myself. But that's me, you know. Maybe I'll just mask it, but I'm not so sure. It's a laughing matter. It's a shame, really, because we see this in it's not just Hexco. I'm not this individual personally, but I'm just saying, like, if there's some stuff that's not right, or some calls that's on them when they get it wrong, you know. A lot of the calls I've seen from Richard Hart have been correct. I haven't listened to the calls on Ivan on Text so much. And Lady on Crypto, I've like listened to about less than 2 minutes of work, so no comment. Now, I think that made sense. You know. Yeah. I guess the price effects, like I said, it's whale games at this point in time. If you want power in the system, become a whale, which means you would basically, there would be people dumping on your head, which raises the question, why would you become a whale? Well, maybe you become a whale because you'll lock up all your shit and do it right, instead of having these big giant fucking bags that are just like destroying the price. Well, that's hard, you know. That's like saying, I'm gonna become a powerful person and I want to change the world, and you get all the power and you realize you can't do shit because the world's still the same. It's possible. I remember the story that my papa, he wanted to become, I think he did become head of a certain organization, teachers board of some sort, and he wanted to, you know, save money by doing, I won't tell the exact story, but save some money. And basically, he thought he could change things to save money, to make it more efficient. Gets into power, realizes people like their perks, and they don't want to change it. And then that was one lesson that I remember that can be applied to every day. Maybe for some reason people like low prices in Hex, I don't know. Maybe you could say everyone else is getting scared and they're selling their Hex. I don't know. I remember what is it? Not never selling the Stake 555 and the price was always up and to the right. And I'm sitting here going, what the fuck happened? And the Hexkins, it felt like we were really going to change the world. Sit back and go, the fuck happened? I didn't get mad. I could have got kind of rich, but I didn't get mad rich. I think if I did, I probably wouldn't be changing the world, to be honest. It's a shame. I like to think it's coming. Otherwise, you're going to be getting fucking years and years and years of streams like that. Oh my god. Oh yeah. That's my thoughts on the day. That is my thoughts. And I am concerned. I'm seriously concerned that Hex is going to miss this bull run. I'm not sure how it would, but what I'm seeing is like I can't even fucking get my own money to some accounts, which kind of sucks, and some other places can't. And yeah, centralized exchanges delisting, even Pulse-Chain. I just hope, like I said, I hope the little people realize that this is here for them, for everyone. Even the whales realize it's here for them. The same way I like to think that they will get motivated somehow, whether they listen to fucking Tucker Carlson or whether they listen to the World Economic Forum. Hopefully one of those two, you know, empowers someone to make a change in the world, and then we get a better world, you know. We get a better place to function in, because the way we are going is Armageddon-ish. The way we are going is towards, so I've heard from the tinfoil hat balloon-birds, is a massive internet shutdown. So fuck that. I don't want that. And everyone listen to Dart. What's happening, guys? Sorry you had to go through that. If you did, that was some, well, not sorry, but it was you'd have to, it might not even make that much sense, you know. It could just sound like crazy ramblings. But yeah, I'm concerned about Hexco missing this bull run. I'm concerned about the direction of the community, especially given the incorrect calls, endless incorrect calls, and the time that's been we kind of wasted it. I think we made mad money. Some people made mad money. We could have, I don't know, done something political, but time is gone. We can't get that back. I don't know. I still think it's good, but like I said, it's a Wales game now, and I think the only way to take control of both the world and Hexaco is the little guys having to somehow obtain power. And it's like, how they're going to obtain power economically, it's going to be very hard. In the real world, it's very hard. In Hexaco, it's very hard. And to gain control of a narrative in the real world, it's pretty damn hard. And in Hexaco, it's pretty damn hard because, you know, we see a lot of the streamers are, I would say, larger players. And like I said, why would you want to fudge your own bags? But at the same time, we can't get delusional. But yeah, I wish I knew how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. It's not overly negative, like I said. It's good. I'm still going to be making ladders if I can figure out a way to cleanly get into Pulse Chain without having to, say, buy Bitcoin first and then pump Bitcoin's bags and then, you know, exit and then get Pulse Chain. I want to go fiat into Pulse Chain, fiat into Hex, fiat into, you know, these centralized exchanges, man. The gatekeepers, they're cutting us off. The fucking SEC shit. I don't even know what's going on with that. And the constant, you know, you can see it as a positive. You can see the people learning how to run their own code, but at the same time, like, not shutting down front ends, but trying to shut down front ends. That's pretty messed up, man. Like, imagine if you're, for instance, trying to watch a stream about Cardano and then try and go to some web page that sells and they're like, oh, I'm going to shut this down. That would look so bad. And if you're trying to get the attention of anyone, no one really wants that. Like, it almost be like a red flag. Like, hang on, even though you're not doing anything wrong, it's like perceived as a red flag, which is frustrating because I've seen a lot of demonization of this individual here, and then I see it play out in the real world and arguably against, I guess you'd say, Hex, Pulse Chain, and PulseX, and it's at the funniest time. It's like, imagine if these things didn't happen, what the price could be, but then because they did happen, look what the price is. It's just, I don't believe in coincidence, basically. Then I fall back and say, you know, look at the world. Maybe they don't like Tucker Carlson or something because he's trying to obtain a particular narrative, and they don't want him to be being the whale of the world, you know. And I'm pretty sure, without money, you can't get to a position like that, because if you're reliant on someone else, then you have to listen to what you're saying here for your money, for you to do your freedom over here. You know, it's. That's why we've got to all get financially free, and then we can, whatever you want. You can either try and change the world, or try and change Hexaco. Either one, two different ends of the, you know, one's a lot smaller than one's a lot larger, but both equally a difficult challenge. So I don't know. I do not know, but all I know is, what I do know is cryptocurrency good. CBDC is bad. But yeah, it's just, I can't help but feel that, hey, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's X is being attacked directly, Pulse Chain is being attacked directly, or if it's just like, why is it that one of the largest communities in all of the cryptocurrency space, they get attacked? A group of people who got together, and you get individuals like popping up like mushroom, not mushrooms, like me popping up just randomly. Like, why would I? And then why would I? Previously, I'll do streams, and I would get like 0, maybe one on, and this was on YouTube, and that's why I was so shocked when it got cancelled for the longest time, just randomly out of nowhere. Like, I was a tiny channel, and some content wasn't allowed to be on YouTube. It would appear on my channel, but it was okay. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Okay, fine, I'll just keep going. And then out of nowhere, bam, gone. And then Hexagons get together, and then we're doing some really good stuff. But like I said, I'm concerned we're going to miss this bull run. I feel like, and then I compared it to, the world. You have to be a whale in the world. You have to be a whale in the world to make a difference. And a lot of us aren't whales. And the same with even things like cryptocurrency. A lot of us aren't whales. And why is the price down so hard? It's all the whales' fault. It's like, well, it kind of is. I'm not selling. I don't know who's selling. Someone's selling. We're going to play a game. And even if they are, they're allowed to, And the only way you beat that is become a whale. And then you control the system. So maybe in 15 years when you have all the T-shares locked up, you can do whatever you want with the price. But then if that was the case, it does work actually. I was gonna say, well, if that was the case, icosahedron right now, you could do whatever you want with the price because not much action, but it has a similar effect where a lot of tokens are issued at the 10x multipliers. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if buying more is going to make the price go up or maintain. I'm not sure where the mad pump is coming from, especially after I saw how this is just what I think. Like, I don't see how the mad pump is coming if people have got wrecked in sacrifices, if people have lost faith in the actual finished product hex, they've lost faith in Pulse Chain, especially newer people, because it's harder to function. It appears more risky when it's actually arguably one of the most DeFi fucking things out there. So maybe over time people will actually realize what is going on in Hexaco, and then they will join forces. Until then, we're kind of going to be like, are we really Spartans though? I mean, we really? All right. Free speech signing out.